You either jumped off the cliff or you don't. And you can't have it both ways. If you're gonna go all into this, you need to go all in.
All right, Sam, I'm excited to continue our conversation now hearing about your journey. Tell me, how did you get to where you are right now? Like, where did you come from? Where are you now? You're leading a company for 4 or 5 years.
Sure. Like everybody, not a straight line exactly. I started, I signed to play football at the University of Alabama right out of high school. Had some family stuff happen that meant I had to grow up a little earlier. So I passed the opportunity and I started working right away. Went to school at night and full time as I kind of managed both. I worked in the sports industry, so I was running sales for a company that trains pro athletes. So think off-season training for NFL, Major League Baseball. Over the next decade, I kind of grew in the sports and fitness industry, managing sales teams, building sales training platforms for companies I was with. And it was kind of like in that experience that I started to see that there's opportunity to create something that was more impactful, especially for sales reps. But anybody who's ever started a company or started a business, everybody asks me like, what made you start it? And I just got pissed off one day. I think I walked out of a sales training workshop and I just said, there's got to be a better way to do this. And I didn't know the first thing about technology other than how to use it as anybody else can. And, I want to say I went through like a year or 2 year sabbatical of just reading and learning and watching and talking and consuming everything I could. And, maybe a few too many, bourbons later, I put a pen to the back of a napkin and had this idea for a game. And we've never looked back.
Tell me about that initial then launch of, all right, you have the idea, but now you need funding. There's several phases one would go through. First is funding, then getting your first couple clients, and then scaling. Can you share anything maybe from the funding side? How did you get that started and rolling? Sure.
I mean, full transparency. When I started the company, I put some of my money into it. And again, I say some of my money. I just, I have a bank account like anybody else. I didn't have a lot of money in it, but I shifted a few dollars over into the new corporate account. And now I operated out of that, even though I was kind of both. It was a pretty funny experience. Anybody who started, is this a business coffee I'm buying at Starbucks or is it my personal coffee? I don't know. But when I started, when I started that process of just kind of starting up, I had somebody tell me something really interesting when I was when I was trying to negotiate for help with like a website being designed. And they said, listen, Sam, you either jumped off the cliff or you don't. And you can't have it both ways. If you're gonna go all into this, you need to go all in. And sounds simple, but when people start a company, and everybody knows people who are like, it's a hobby thing. You can't start a technology company. And I want to build a high growth startup. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to build a small business. I didn't want to build something that just I controlled. I wanted to build a platform. So that conversation was really powerful to me. I put together a presentation deck. I started and stopped fundraising 2 or 3 times in our first year and failed at all 3. But what I started doing is I started selling. So I built a prototype of our product and I started to sell and take the money that we won and put it right back into the product. So I kind of, at any point in time, if this cycle would have broke, the company would have failed. But we just kept, sell a client, invest it, sell it, invest it, sell it, invest it.
Customer funded.
Self-funded. Way too many tech companies that, don't even have their first sale and go and raise a crazy amount of money and, they don't appreciate it. But I did that and I got to a point where I started to realize I really do need to raise money or this is going to take forever. And I started to apply to a bunch of tech accelerators, the incubators, and we got a call back from 500 startups and they said, we'd love to have you in the program. Can you be in San Francisco on Tuesday? This was Friday. I had just gotten married. So, that was a long weekend. And on Tuesday, I was on a flight to San Francisco and I spent a year in San Francisco. really putting the company through a boot camp. And that was our first, 100K outside check that we received.
From there, what tactics did you do to then actually scale up and to the customers? How many customers do you have to today? Like what are the couple tactics that worked for you?
When I got the 100K from 500, I said, okay, that's great. What am I going to do with it? So my kind of right-hand guy, Roger, was our first sales leader to join the team. Roger joined me, moved out to San Francisco with me. I got and both of these guys are still with us. Ben joined our team, who started to do game design for us, and he was based in DC. And we just kind of started to corral the first initial team around the business. And we used the next year as the way to get the company in a position to raise a bigger round, which we ended up doing. I want to say, today, we have over 100 brands on the platform. We're across a dozen different verticals. We're, 40 full-time team members. We just closed we had closed a seed round, and then we just closed a Series A financing in November. So we've raised about $9 million total to date over the last, 4 years. So definitely has been huge to help us just double down on our technology, grow out our team. When I moved back from San Francisco, we were going to be like any good tech company and open some, crappy WeWork in New York. And I ended up getting introduced to Don Katz, who's the CEO at Audible, and they were just starting a investment fund in Newark, New Jersey. Newark, I had known just from the news. I knew Newark, I knew Cory Booker, I knew the New Jersey Devils. I knew it's a city trying to fight back. And we decided, probably one of the best decisions we made, I came out to Newark and they made an investment in us, and we decided to make Newark our corporate headquarters. And our team has been planted in Newark. We're just 12 minutes outside of the city. And being that close to a city that's fighting back has been really big for us.
Looking ahead, what kind of challenges do you see communication-wise, internally, but definitely externally, because of COVID and the way people are thinking right now? What challenges do you see you're going to need to overcome to move forward?
Yeah, challenge-wise, I think that the big thing is nobody, the future of work was this thing people thought was a decade away from now, and it's now here. Like, the future of work's no longer in the future, it's now. And I think we're going to struggle as companies, unfortunately try to figure out how to get their tech stack up to speed where it should have been. Unfortunately, companies have not done a great job broadly getting their own infrastructure well developed for their team. So, that's going to be one of the challenges we fight through. But I feel I'm very bullish on the fact that companies are going to make workforce training investments a priority. They're already doing it. We're already seeing it. Quarter two was kind of a tough one for us, like everybody else was. But quarter three has been off to a rocket ship start, with companies starting to just get a little bit of breathing room. And, not every industry, no doubt, but a lot of the companies we're talking to that are maybe premium end, luxury end, have done a good job. They're starting to invest in their infrastructure and use this moment to do that.
Looking forward then, last question I have for you. What kind of tech innovations do you predict we'll see in the near term, next year or so, and in the next 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more B2B enterprise products looking like B2C products. So I think that you're going to see everything around the employee experience is going to feel like a customer experience. So that's going to be really big. So I think that's probably the big trend you're going to see. No doubt, virtual reality, AI, deeper work on AI is going to accelerate. I think there's going to be a lot of jobs automated under the guise of augmentation. And, it's going to be really interesting to see the way humans work alongside machines.
Have you seen a company using AI, machine learning, or other technology to transform the way we live, work, and do business? Go to uptechreport.com and let us know.